Alright, what's up guys? We've got a new deck profile today. As you can see from the cards on the table, we've got green-haired Kaiba. We've got a Blue Eyes deck profile. Basically this one, I mentioned last time from one of my last Blue Eyes videos is that I would work on a control build. It's something that I thought could actually work in Blue Eyes just because Blue Eyes can always throw out gigantic monsters sort of out of nowhere. You don't need a lot of cards with Blue Eyes to throw out, 8,000 attack. 8,000 attack, but just game. You don't need a lot of cards in hand to put game on board, basically. And it doesn't matter if you play cards to slow down your opponent because you can easily recover at any time because all of your monsters, like I said, are 3,000 attack and they have really cool additional effects. So I actually built a control-based Blue Eyes deck, and I'm actually pretty excited about it. I've been playing it a lot online. It's been pretty good for me. It can not only put on floodgates, it can put down negates, and it can put down sort of destructions during your opponent's turn, and among other things, but I'm actually liking the deck a lot. Let's get to it. First off, we play 3 copies, of course, of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Play your favorite artworks, as I always say. Don't let anybody bully you into anything else. Yeah, but those 3 are mine. Like I said, I might be getting, bumps on those later on, but yeah, these are my 3 favorite. Like I said, this is very important in the deck. Extraordinarily important. This is actually more important in this version of the deck than in other versions that I've made because of certain cards that we play. Definitely 3 copies of that. Alright, next card. 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. This card, as you all know, pops a card, which is one of the reasons I really like it. It pops a card and then you can just link it away or synchro with it or XYZ with it, and you can just bring it back and you can attack with it anyway. So I like this card a lot. Like, this is one of the other cards that's really good for the control build because you can just summon this, pop a card, and it can sort of whittle down your opponent's resources. And you don't have to give up anything to summon him. You just reveal something and special summon him. Then we've got 1 Dragon Spirit of White. This card is, again, very, very good. It as long as you can keep bringing it back and bringing it back, you can basically get free banishes of your opponent's spawn trap cards. And this card is actually really good against Eldritch. It's one of the cards you really need against Eldritch because without this card, I mean, it'd just be a blowout. You'd probably lose. They'd outgrind game you. I mean, not particularly because you can see the reason a lot of decks struggle with Eldritch is because they can't take them out in time, and then once that grind game breaks out, Eldritch is going to win. But Blue Eyes can put 8,000 on board any time, any day of the week. It's just that incredible with that. Next, we play 1 copy of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. This is searchable off of Melody of Awakening Dragons. It's also along with the regular Blue Eyes and Alternative Eyes. But it's just another card. It's basically, it's a main effect that you're going to be using is that when you banish 3 lights, you can special summon a monster from the graveyard, which is one of the effects that you're going to be using. It's usually the one you're going to be using, but because we do have dark monsters in our extra deck, we are actually able to get one of the other effects, which is to pop 2 cards non-targeting. Usually, you will not be able to shuffle a card from your opponent's hand into their deck. That effect you're usually not going to be able to do. Next, we play 3 copies of Nebula Dragon. I think this is, in the pure build, I actually think Nebula Dragon is a must. I've been playing with it for quite a while. I think it is, like, seeing this and a regular Blue Eyes is much better than seeing a regular Blue Eyes and an Alternative Eyes. Like, this card is just that good. It's almost, in a way, like another copy of Alternative, but in certain ways it's actually sort of better, especially in this control build, because you're going to be playing spells and traps, and then you're going to be able to summon a rank 8 and an additional rank 8 just off of this card. So this card basically allows you to reveal another level 8 and itself, and then you can special summon both it and the other level 8. So if you have pure regular Blue Eyes, you can reveal that and this, special summon both of them. Their effects are negated, they're in defense mode, all that. And then you're locked into light and dark dragons, which you're playing a Blue Eyes deck, so it doesn't matter. And you're locked into it for the remainder of the turn, not leading up to it. So you can still summon other monsters during that turn, just this has to be the last thing you do, which is not a problem at all. I love cards that say that, it's only for the rest of the turn. It's not like, it doesn't penalize you building up. But yeah, that's the effect of this card, basically. And it gives you access to so many different rank 8s in the game. And then, of course, if you don't know about this yet, there's a certain rank A, number 97, which allows you to summon another rank 8. So just basically off of this card and a Blue Eyes, you can get 2 rank 8s. So either a negate rank 8 or 9,000 damage rank 8, or you can get, and then you can get that monster, which is untargetable. So yeah, this card, I think in pure Blue Eyes, is a must. You can't, like, there's no way to avoid it. Then we play 2 copies of Sage. It seems like I keep whittling Sage down every single time. I was actually, when I was testing this build initially, I was actually playing the field spell, and I was playing 3 Sages. But the issue is, sometimes that field spell is a little, it commits too many resources, and the issue with the field spell is, when you're playing the field spell, you only want to see 1 field spell, but when you are playing it, you always want to see it. So sometimes you'll get hands with 2 field spells, you activate 1 field spell over the other, you search Burst Stream, like, it sounds good, but it can be a little bit problematic. But yeah, we whittled it down to 2 Sages. The reason is, it's just Sage is an extra copy of every stone, and then on top of that, you can use its effect to send an effect monster, and if you send a stone, you get an additional effect, but if you send an effect monster from field to grave, and then itself from hand to grave, you can special summon a Blue Eyes. It's a little bit annoying, because it is kind of a minus to use that second effect, but you know, things will work, yeah. We play 1 copy of White Stone of Legend. This, of course, gets us a Blue Eyes when it's sent to grave from anywhere. Never misses timing. We've got 3 copies of the White Stone of Ancients. This is another card that is very, very good in the deck. Of course, a lot of people forget its second effect to banish and bring back to hand, but just keep that in mind. You got to play those. 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is an incredible card in pure Blue Eyes because you have so many lights, so you don't have to worry about, like, not having the appropriate amount and, you know, bricking. You're always going to have lights in your hand, and all of your lights will either replace themselves or they will give you additional effects. So if you discard like White Stone or Ancients or something like that, or even if you discard regular Blue Eyes, it's not really a big deal, because like I said before, you don't mind getting Blue Eyes in grave. It's Blue Eyes, you can just bring it back with various measures. But that is it for the monsters. Whoa! Everything went tumbling. That is it for the monsters. Let's move those out of the way. We will now go to the spells and traps. We play 1 copy of Monster Reborn because it's limited to 1. If we could play more than 1, we would play more than 1. Then we play essentially another copy of Monster Reborn, which is Dragon Revival Rhapsody. Now, you know, I wasn't playing Lord of D's, number 1, and also I was not playing any copies of... I only played 2 copies of Sage, so you're probably thinking this is a brick, but no. You have Relinquished Anima. This is basically any level 1 monster. You can link away any of the you can link away any of the stones. Make a Relinquished Anima. This is a spellcaster. Now this card is live. You can special summon basically a normal, what is it called? Just a normal monster from the grave, and then when you summon that, you can additionally summon another monster. So it's actually really good. It gives you 2 additional graveyard summons. So it's very good, but again, this is one of those cards you do not want to see it more than 1. But it's very good when you do see it because it's very consistent now. Significantly a lot more consistent than it once was. And your opponent takes no battle damage, but this deck is built more to go first, so it doesn't matter if they take battle damage or not, because you're just going to create a board that's annoying to play through. Play 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. It's like Monster Reborn for dragons, but it also has protection, which is very important in this particular build. And then on top of and of course it's only level 7s and 8s, so you can't bring the little stones back, just to be clear. Then we play 3 Melody of Awakening Dragons, searches a large part of the deck. 3 Trade-ins, incredible draw power. 2 Card of Consonance. Like I said, I like draw power a lot, so sometimes I'll lean more on the side of draw power than other Blue Eyes decks. You hear a lot of them about, oh, geez, I bricked. I don't like having that feeling ever. So I try to put a little more emphasis on the draw power than maybe other builds. Then we play 1 copy of Dragon Shrine. This is like double Foolish Burial. It's terrific. And now let's get into the trap cards. Yes, I'm actually playing trap cards in Blue Eyes. Let's get to them. We play 2 copies. I only found 1, but we're playing 2. Guard Dragon Cataclysm. This card is seriously sick. So this is going to start our little trap card brigade here. We play 2 copies of Guard Dragon Cataclysm. This card is basically like Icarus attack, but for dragons. You basically distribute a dragon, and you can destroy 2 cards on the field. And of course, I mean, that's an incredibly good effect. The only thing is it is a hard once per turn, so that's why I do play it at 2. You don't want to see more than 1. But this card is like amazing when you play it in combination with like the stones, because you can, for example, you can activate Guard Dragon Cataclysm, tribute the White Stone of Ancients, and then pop 2 cards, and then end phase, the White Stone of Ancients will go off, and you can summon like Spirit, and then banish an additional card during their end phase, and then they can't even respond with it because they set the spell and trap card that turn, so they can't even do anything about it. They have to just lose their card. But yeah, this card is really good, especially against spell and trap card decks, because like I said, you can just hit them in the end phase and they can't really do anything about it. But it's one of those cards, like I'm really excited that I put it in there. And of course, you're gonna have a ton of dragons. You have Blue Eyes. You even have the, if you need to, like the larger dragons, like the rank 8s. If you have to tribute one of them, have to use one of their negates, it's not that big of a deal. You can recover the following turn anyway. So yeah, that card's very good. Then we've got the Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi. This is another card that I'm trying out in the deck. Again, I've seen, like, I'm very happy with this deck from what I've been doing online. Again, we can't go to tournaments, so I don't know how that would go, but online, I've been sort of performing fairly well with this. This basically, if you control a non-effect monster, so non-effect just means any monster that doesn't have any effect text on it. So regular Blue Eyes is, of course, a non-effect monster. So if you have regular Blue Eyes, you have this. It's basically, if you control a non-effect monster, it's like Solemn Judgment. It doesn't destroy the card, but other than that, it's like it negates almost a monster spell or trap. Additionally, if this card gets popped, you can special summon a non-effect monster from your extra deck. I was playing it in testing, but I ultimately decided not to play it. You can actually play Blue Eyes Ultimate and then just summon a Blue Eyes Ultimate from your extra deck, if you want to. Like I said, when in testing, I was playing it, I was messing around with it, but ultimately I decided to remove it because things would get popped here and there, but it wasn't really worth it long term as I drop everything. But yeah, you can definitely play it if you wanted to. Then we play 2 copies of the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. This card basically makes your Blue Eyes totally unaffected by all other card effects. It can't be destroyed by battle. Anytime it battles, your opponent's monster gets banished. It basically saves you for a turn because, like, let's say they target Blue Eyes with something, you just activate target Blue Eyes with this. Now Blue Eyes is unaffected by everything, and since it can't be destroyed by battle, no one in their right mind would attack into it. And it's, yeah, so basically it just saves you for 1 turn, and it is sort of a control deck that can OTK it, like I said, at any moment. This deck can literally OTK at any time. That's one effect of it, and it's very good. Again, this is one of those cards you don't want to see at more than one. That's why I'd rather play 1 to 2 copies of every one of these trap cards, so you get like a variety in your hand rather than multiples. But then its other effect is when you normal summon or special summon a Blue Eyes, you can set this back to your side of the field, and sometimes you'll actually activate this, target a Blue Eyes, make them unaffected, and then even in that turn you can special summon another Blue Eyes and then set this back, and then the following turn you can use it. It's very useful. Then for the blowout cards, we play 1 copy of Skill Drain, which I have a higher rarity, but why do I don't bring things, I just goof around. Yes, 1 copy of Skill Drain, because again, it's a blowout card. Sometimes you flip this, they're like, okay, game 2. And 1 copy of Imperial Order. I know we play a lot of spells and it seems counterproductive, but if you went first and you already set up a bunch, you already used it, because your spells you don't like have to use long term. Your spells are just used to set up that first board or OTK and going second. You don't need to activate spells after you've set up that initial board. So this is, again, Skill Drain and Imperial Order are just blowout cards that you activate them. I mean, it's a wrap. Like, a lot of decks cannot play through it. A lot of their extenders or starters are spells, so you just hit them with this and they have to kind of scoop, because you never just have Imperial Order. You'll have like a 2 rank 8s and a Blue Eyes and a Imperial Order and a negate on board, and it's like, it doesn't matter even if they get rid of this, you have all that other stuff that they have to contend with. So it creates a little bit of a frustrating environment. All right, next for the extra deck, we play 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. This card, like I said, it creates a spellcaster out of nowhere. In addition to creating that spellcaster out of nowhere, what it allows you to do, let me move these guys out of the way. What it allows you to do is it can steal a monster that this points to. One of the monsters that it can steal is actually Appaloosa, because Appaloosa gets summoned. Appaloosa points forward, so you can actually summon this under Appaloosa, and you can force your opponent to negate this and just waste a negate. It's really good. Then we play 1 copy of Link Karibo. just a generic Link 1. You can play All Mirage. You can play... Let's see, what else can you play? You can play All Mirage. You can play the Guard Dragons if you really wanted to. But it's basically just to get stones off the field. The reason I like Link Rainbow slightly more is because it has a quick effect. So, like, let's say you have a stone during your opponent's turn. You can quick effect tribute the stone, bring this back. And if it's like Stone of Ancients, for example, you can summon a Blue Eyes during their end phase. So it's got, you know, a little bit more synergy, a few cool plays. We've got one Crystron Needlefber. This is just one of those cards. It throws out the tuners onto your side of the field. Sometimes you have like two monsters. You'd rather get another tuner out, sort of another extender. So what you do is you can, like, let's say you have a little tuner and a Blue Eyes. You link those two away, make this, summon another Stone, or Stone of Ancients maybe. And Stone of Ancients, a lot of people don't know, isn't once per turn. Like the effect to bring a card back to your hand is a hard once per turn, but the effect to special summon during the end phase is actually not a hard once per turn. So you can actually summon multiple monsters during your end phase, and you can even do that during your opponent's end phase. But yeah, it helps kind of stack those. One copy of Blue Eyes Twin Burst. I know a lot of people have been cutting this, but I actually do like it. It's good for getting rid of boss monsters, and it attacks twice. Like I like this card a lot. It's very easy to make. It is a contact fusion, so you have to commit anything to it. But yeah, I actually like this card a lot. It's very good for removal. One Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. This, as you probably know, is one of the real ferocious cards in the Blue Eyes deck. And the cards you can summon off of it, which are Azure Eyes and Black Rose. Black Rose bounces. So, those two. Then for our XYZ monsters, we play Cyber Dragon Nova, Cyber Dragon Infinity. These are, you make these off the Galaxy Soldiers. And then we play, for the rank 8s, one copy of number 90. If, for some reason, this card has gone up in price a little bit recently, and I'm not even completely sure why. But if you need a replacement, play Dingir, so it's like $2 now. It's really good. We play one copy of number 97, Must Have Dragon. This card is insane. So basically, it can't be targeted, which is already a good effect, because you can't get effect, Veiler, and Impermanent. It's already good. So it can't be targeted, and then its second effect is that you can take a dragon number XYZ monster, and you can either attach it, from your extra deck, basically, you can take a number dragon XYZ monster from your extra deck and special summon it, and then you can attach a material from either your graveyard or from your extra deck, which is really, really good, because you can basically turbo out any number XYZ monster, even numbers that you can't naturally summon in a Blue Eyes deck, and monsters that are, quite honestly, really difficult to summon, period. So that's its first effect, and then that monster that you summon is the only monster that can attack for the remainder of the turn. So that is its effects, and then what we're going to be summoning off of it is number 100, which is incredibly difficult to summon otherwise, but this card basically allows you to detach a material, and when you detach a material, this card gains attack equal to all of the ranks on the field. So basically ranks those little stars. So you can summon this card off of number 97, and because this is rank 8, this is a rank 1, just being summoned off of this, it's 9,000 attack. It's just that's what I'm talking about, just out of nowhere. If you have like a Nebula Dragon and Blue Eyes, you have 9,000 attack on board. And against a lot of decks, that's OTK. I mean, like I said, it's just out of nowhere, you can just drop that. Next, it also has an effect when it gets destroyed. You can make both players you can destroy all monsters on the field, or as many monsters as possible on the field, and then both players set a spell or trap card from their graveyard to their side of the field, which is sometimes, honestly, kind of a dangerous effect. You don't want to give your opponent good stuff sometimes. We play one number 92. This is another card that both of these have sort of gotten up in price, and I don't know if I've had an impact on that, but yeah, this is another card that's incredibly good. Just if during the end phase of your opponent's turn, every single card that they normal summoned or set that turn gets banished. And I've heard people say, like, that's not really that good, because no one would set or normal summon cards if they know that's on the field. Well, if you don't set or normal summon anything, I'm just going to win anyway the following turn, so please don't set anything. Like, this card is awesome because it puts a timer on your opponent. They have to get rid of it. And this card can't be destroyed by battle. And it has a crazy graveyard effect. It can't be destroyed by battle. Any battle damage taken from this card is taken by your opponent. So I was playing against like Mathmex, and I had this card on board, and he just couldn't get around it because he had this big monster that's unaffected by everything, and I just kept attacking into his monster, and he ended up losing anyway because he had no way to get rid of it, like out of nowhere. But yeah, this card is definitely very, very good. It puts a timer on your opponent, and it can throw damage down anytime. We play one number 46. Again, we need these numbers. Drag Luon. This card is another very good one. Basically, it allows you to steal your opponent's dragon or summon a dragon from your hand, which can help you on brick sometimes. But basically, those are the majority of the effects. Oh yeah, or it has one more effect too. Your opponent dragons can activate monster effects, which again, you rarely use those effects. Most of the time, you're just summoning a dragon from your hand. But yeah, it's another kind of dragon number name that you can just attach with number, the other number, with number 97. It's just another number sort of effect that you can use. And then we play, to round it out, number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon, one of the best dragons, one of the best rank 8s of all time. Negates a spell. And it's a lightning rod, meaning that your opponent has to respond to this card. And of course, since these have all been dragons, you can tribute them for the Guard Dragon Cataclysm that I showed you before. So you can actually tribute them for Guard Dragon Cataclysm, and then you can use the effect of number 97 to attach them back as material the following turn. So it's like you never really lost them to the new monster that you summon. But that is it. I'm actually very excited about this deck. I have been playing it quite a bit, and like I said, I've been doing pretty well online with it. I didn't think Blue Eyes would ever be able to be a control deck, but this meta is so crazy, or this lack of meta is so crazy that so many decks have so much potential. And I'm very excited about it. Like I said, it can drop damage at any time. And I guess, yeah, let me know what you guys think. The next Blue Eyes deck that I'm probably going to be doing, I'm just waiting for Link Cross to come out, but I'm definitely doing the Chaos Max Dragon deck. If that's something you guys want to see, let me know. I'm certainly very excited about it. But again, thank you for watching, and have a terrific day, guys.